Hello and welcome to episode 50 dose. And also, anniversary uno. It's our 1 year anniversary.
1 year
Mazel
Spice
tov.
Squadron anniversary as of the 21st of August.
We're a
So
1 year old.
it's a little bit past that, but it was the closest to that we could get. Firstly,
birthday.
happy birthday. Secondly, thank you so much
Yeah, thank you.
for all the support that we have received in this first year of doing this silly
Yeah.
little thing where we sit on this couch and we talk to you about SWU. It has
Did not even
been
think it would get close to this bit.
crazy. We're up near 400 subscribers. We're getting close to that.
We've got preview cards. I remember we...
No, sorry. I think we're just about to hit 350.
Yeah, we're at like 347 or something as we're making this video. We got preview cards, which for us, we were like, thank you so much to you guys. Thank you so much to FFG.
Yep.
Thank you to everyone, because we originally, no joke, when we first started this channel, we made jokes about getting preview cards as if it'll ever happen. You know, it'd be nice to one day get it. And the folks off at FFG, Xander, the dev team, everyone have been just so kind, and they reached out. They were like, yeah, absolutely. Like, you guys are up and coming creators, you're supporting our game. We'd love to support you. And lo and behold, 2 sets in, we've got 3 preview cards under our belt, and hopefully more to come in the future. But all of it's possible because of you.
No, absolutely. It's all thanks to you guys for subscribing, for watching, for
liking,
commenting,
doing all
liking,
the things you do, sharing it,
talking to us when you see us in public and going, hey, I know you. You own Spice Squadron. We go, ah!
joining our live streams.
During our live
all of it.
streams.
Like we will be live streaming our set 3 opening again as well on the opening day. So keep a watchful eye out for that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all thanks to you.
Absolutely.
You, and yes, this time even you. But
for our birthday,
we
want to talk about blue, everyone's favorite color on the color pie.
Power of the Dark Side color.
Power of the Dark Side color, Iden color, the color of control.
Half of Hondo's colors this set. That's good business. That's good business.
It's good business. But Vigilance. Talking all things Vigilance. What's happened to it since set 1, how it's moved into set 2, all the new goodies and toys that it has received.
More please.
And yes, we're going to be talking about all of that right now.
Like right now?
Like right now.
Whoa, what are we starting with?
We're going to start off with Hero.
Oh my, Quill.
Previously, Blue Hero was locked pretty firmly in the Luke Green camp.
Yeah, good old Camp Luke.
Yeah, good old Camp Luke.
Camp Luke.
Haven't seen much of that in set 2.
No, but you know what we have seen a lot of? Well, actually, we've still seen it floating around, but we've seen a lot of
It's still
Ray,
a very good deck.
seen a lot of green blue Ray, seen a lot of red blue Ray, seen a lot of mono blue Ray, seen a lot of red blue Han.
Blue, weirdly enough, has turned into more of a support color in set 2
Yeah, very much.
that it was
Taking the role of what
in set
green
1.
took in set 1. I think they've shifted a lot. Like you're running a lot more of those green pieces as main pieces, and a lot of those blue pieces have now shifted to that utility role of removal or restore.
Absolutely.
And things like that.
And I think, weirdly enough, as much as there is like Mono Ray, we'll talk about it a little bit later, I think Hondo showcases blue almost better than any other deck at the moment, which is a really interesting thing. We'll get to that when we start talking about the villain. But we're going to start with the hero, with Ray. And one of my favorite cards in Ray started off as a 2-cost staple in Blue Hero. And that is Quill.
He's great.
And
he rocks.
I think a lot of people talked shit on him when he first got released.
I did. I didn't understand it, but now I get it.
Was like, well, if he's not drawing you a card every time he swings, he's useless.
But he's a better stat than C-3PO.
But then I said, well, what if you just had a 2-cost 2/3 restore 1 in the ground?
Yeah, and we know that Arc is good.
Yep.
So
this is also just really good.
At the worst of times, it's an restored arc on the ground. At the best of times, it's a restored arc and C-3PO mixed together.
Absolutely. And
That's
a lot
good.
of, and if you're running something like mono blue Ray,
You're never missing.
you're never missing with him. And it's one of those situations where he becomes
2 cost 2/3 draw a card.
like actually crazy.
Had to be good. He got a promo.
It's true, he did.
I think he's amazing. I think with the release of Quill, we're seeing decks that are wholly focused on healing now. If you want to, you can build a restore deck where your turn 1 plays have restore, your turn 2 play of Yoda has restore, your turn 3 play of Kanan restores, and then you're just building up into a more force-oriented, healing-based deck, running all of these unique and interesting cards.
And then adding on to that, something like Moisture Farmers there is just like that really kind of weird 1 cost 0/4 restore 2.
But with Ray, you can buff it.
Yep, and then you can buff it again. You can buff Quill. You can buff the Yoda, and you can buff the little villagers with sticks.
They're great. We actually we should talk about those. What are they called?
It's like I don't know, villagers with sticks.
Yeah,
That's what I've always called them.
We only know. Yeah, that's what we've called them as well. 3 cost 2/2 Sentinel shielded. Actually, really annoying. Like genuinely very annoying.
Yeah. And we kind of saw it when like Chewbacca was doing stuff like playing the Wilderness Fighter with Sentinel, or playing the not Cartel Spacer, I always forget his name. So the 2 cost Crafty Smuggler with Sentinel. But having the straight Sentinel, really good.
It's a good card, and once again you can buff it up with Ray. And not to mention, Ray has the Force tag, incredibly relevant. Flips it 6, decent flip, but becomes a 3/7 restore 3. And again, I feel like just because we hadn't seen her appear, people might have forgotten. But guys, Ray is really good. Like, Ray is really good. The green-blue Ray deck is still great. Mono-blue Ray deck is still great. Red-blue hand discard Ray is still incredible. That deck kind of morphed into Han Blue.
I think absolutely that was the start of Han Blue really coming into fruition.
You can still play that deck with Ray, and it's still like, welcome to locals. I'm going 3-1. Like, potentially winning it. Like,
absolutely.
Absolutely with that deck. Like, Ray, interestingly enough, she's not been present in the meta per se, but she is still meta relevant.
Absolutely.
I think Ray is one of the best leaders to come out of Blue Heroes thus
And I think
far.
we're going to be seeing Ray go into the future very strongly.
Absolutely, especially next set when we're getting Force and Jedi support, because we've already seen a couple of cards for set 3. That's coming up. We'll probably talk a little bit more about that at the end. But we've already seen a card that synergizes specifically with Jedi. Now, that's great. Rey doesn't have the Jedi trait. She does have the Force trait. And you know what all of the main players in the Clone Wars had?
The Force.
So we're definitely going to see some cards that synergize with it. And look, personally, I'm thinking that a leader that buffs small units, clones, and has Restore 3 on her is just going to be good. I mean, buffing your clones, making them 3/3s for how many resources when she's flipped?
0.
And for how many when she's not?
No.
That seems pretty good to play one and get Battlefield Marines.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I'm dropping Rex in this deck, and I go, here's my 4/4, and then I'm flipping Rey, and I'm swinging, I'm making one of those clones a 3/3, and then I'm getting that value is insane.
Yeah, being able to buff up the clones is something that's going to be huge, especially when we're also going to be getting those Anthem effects that are going to come through.
Oh yeah,
Buffing
I didn't even think of that until just then. I didn't even think that they were
very. Rey's definitely going to be a key player.
She's going to be huge next set, especially if we get some decent Jedi cards to run along with her. You know, being able to run that new saber, being able to run the old saber, just like all this kind of stuff. Rey just gets better. Keep an eye out for green Blu-ray.
Yeah,
I think she.
While she's kind of fallen out of the limelight of this set.
Nah, yeah, she's going to be good next set.
Definitely things coming in the future.
I think she might be one of the only leaders to make next set's coordinate ability really come into its own, because currently that ability is seeming difficult to pull off comparatively to exploit.
Yeah, absolutely agree. That, like, as much as we say exploit's massive and the cooperate is much harder to get off, it's one of those situations where we don't have the full sets.
Yeah, so
there's
we can't
a lot of things that are going to be coming out that are going to be helping you get those 3 units on the board, and Rey being able to buff up a trooper
makes them strong, makes
that much easier.
What I'm thinking, if we get Avias. Literally, if we get Avias, that's like a clone sergeant. It's a 3 cost 3/3 +1/+1. Give it Cody. You literally just go, here's Cody. He's a 3 cost 3/3 and gives all of your other clones +1/+1.
Yeah.
I tell you what. I legitimately tell you what, boy. That would absolutely slap in Ray because you're giving you swing, you buff up all your clones, you drop Cody. Suddenly they're all 4/4s. That's wild.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we got something like Cody, where it was something like that would be coordinate, all your clones get +1/+1 and overwhelm.
Yeah.
Like something like that, where it's just or a different kit, or like maybe like +1/+1 and saboteur.
And I think
right?
one big thing, and this is the most important thing, we are almost guaranteed consistent token generators next set. We could see an LAAT gunship that whenever it attacks, you make a 2/2 clone.
Mm-hmm.
If we get something like that, every turn you attack with the LAAT, you attack with Ray and buff the clone that's just made. Every turn you're playing Battlefield Marines for absolutely nothing. If that is the case, and we get consistent token generators like that, Ray becomes an incredible deck.
Absolutely.
And she's already good in this set, but this is just talking to things to come. And I think the other blue leader for this set is Finn. And I think
he also exists.
He exists.
Go check out the gameplay.
Jinx!
Because I'm playing Finn this week.
And you have something I want.
It's my life total.
As for heroes that are blue or blue adjacent, Han 2 utilizes blue really well. Mainly a red deck, but it utilizes those blue hit pieces incredibly well. We talked about earlier, we talked about Yoda, Kanan, Luke, Obi-Wan, Redemption, running all of those just cards. Yeah, of course, Takedown, Fell the Dragon, all that kind of good stuff removal as well. But just running those absolute bomb beaters is incredible. Like, that leader has given blue the opportunity to use all of its really high level value targets outside of a Luke Skywalker deck.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
is I think that's good.
The added removal that we've seen this set has just solidified blue as that kind of removal color.
Absolutely.
If you have blue, then most likely you're going to be able to remove stuff really easily.
Anything. Blue can realistically remove anything. I mean, we've got Rivals Fall,
which can remove anything.
Fell the Dragon, Takedown.
Yeah.
If you want to lean into the villain side, Super Laser Blast, Power of the Dark Side, blue's got it all, baby.
Absolutely.
Unmitigated removal out the wazoo.
Which makes it weird that removal decks have actually fallen off.
It's interesting because in set 1, a removal deck's finisher was just the normal value finishes that the other villain decks had, but also it was the fact that it could just burn out, because in set 1 there weren't enough cards. There just weren't. So some decks would just burn out.
Yep.
Now there is enough cards. There's so many cards. There's so many cards that those removal decks fall off, because if someone else is running... We had this discussion the other day with Hondo, where if I'm an all removal deck and a few units, but you're a half removal deck and half units, well, you'll probably get me, because at the end of the day, you can play 2 things a turn, I can remove 1, and if I play a unit, you can just remove it, and then play another unit. So you always end up 1 unit ahead of your opponent, and you're plinking them down. You're getting them down slowly and slowly, and the reason we know this works is because aggro did it in set 1, but aggro didn't have removal. Now that we have more cards, these decks can flourish and pivot, and that's exactly how Hondo Blue works.
Yep.
It works into those removal decks where they go, you go 1, 2, 3 units in the early game, and then they're like, oh man, remove, play this, and you go, remove that, and they go, okay, well, I'm out, so I'm going to spend this turn removing that, and then they go, cool, smuggle this out, and then you're like, oh, they're 2/2 ships for 3, but they're so annoying.
Yeah, and they just also don't have the cards in hand to do it.
Yeah, which is a big thing from set 1, was you would attrition your opponent out and they would lose their hand advantage. Now we have Smuggle. Smuggle actually just solves that problem. If you're running like 6 Smuggle cards in your deck, that's enough a lot of the time.
Yeah, and it's not to say that all removal decks are now bad.
Definitely
They're not. They're very good.
Iden still cooks.
But at the end of the day, Iden runs into the thing of, I don't have enough resources, and I don't have enough and by resources I mean cards in hand and the resources on table to remove everything.
Yeah.
And previously, Super Laser Blast into Avenger wins you the game.
Now
It doesn't do it anymore.
there's a lot of ways for people to recover because you can Super Laser Blast. Some units don't even die anymore, and other ones can just be played from their resources. Like you can Super Laser Blast and they go, damn. Well, we're at the resources now. Where I can do this, and then they just go Pike Sentinel and 2 of the spaceships from their resources, and then if they're playing Hondo, well, one of those units gets buffed. If they're not playing Hondo, they could be whipping out you could be playing against aggro and you could wipe their whole board, and then you're like, whew, bought myself a turn, and they go awesome Cassian.
Yeah,
and then
3.
surprise strike, and then you're dead.
Yeah.
Like they got you, and you just couldn't have stopped it.
Or Cassian, for a cause I believe in, 6 like 8, like that's what 7 damage.
Yeah, Night Owl Skirmisher, and then you suddenly go, am I about to lose to a Night Owl Skirmisher after dropping this? Probably.
Sure good.
So I think like that happening is a real big thing where those control decks have definitely been hit by that. And that has led to, I guess, the era of value. The main decks winning tournaments right now are decks that win through disrupting your opponent's value or netting more value than your opponent.
And that's exactly where we see those mono yellow Boba and mono yellow Han coming in, where they have mono Boba can go disruption or the kind of aggro route.
Go an aggro route though.
Mono Han is more of that disruption. Mono Boba value, Han Blue value. So all these things are either going the full aggro route or going the out value route.
Yeah. And in my opinion, aggro is a type of value. You're out valuing your opponent's damage capacity. And that's a really interesting way that these decks have turned. And the way I can say this is because the aggro has changed. We take a look at decks like Mono Yellow Boba, where it's not spam units anymore. One of its main strategies is getting value off of Toro Calican and playing multiple small units, buffing him up and swinging multiple times. That's not the traditional aggro of spam units go face. That's a value netting play.
Absolutely.
And the reason I'm talking about this is because that's where we talk about disruption cards, and that's why blue has become more of a splash.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
Because in of itself has cards that disrupt value and turn it in your favor.
Yeah.
Takedown has never been more valuable.
Absolutely.
Takedown has never been more valuable. They drop a Toro Calican and, they swing into your Sentinel and kill it. And then you do something, maybe swing into theirs or play a small guy. And then they play a 1-drop and untap him and you take down Toro.
Or even they just play Toro and you go, cool, play 4 takedown, get rid of him.
Just get rid of him.
It curbs so much of their value and their entire turn. Maybe they're going to play a Cunning and swing with him and then untap him and then swing with him again. And you've just saved 8, well, not 8, it'd be 14 damage to base.
Yeah. Playing against Han Blue, they start dropping big bombs early. Well, Fell the Dragon, pay 4, and that can turn the table pretty easily.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if they drop the Dragon. Paying 4 to Fell the Dragon is very good. When, villain decks have access to paying 3 for Power of the Dark Side, might as well pay 4 and just have access to it.
No, absolutely.
It's very relevant.
Weirdly enough, my Crate Dragon is a huge card in the meta at the moment.
Absolutely.
Han Blue,
any ramp deck, any red
will run
ramp
it.
deck.
Fell the Dragon, funnily enough, the best way to counter against it.
Yeah, you just pay 4, take 4, kill it, get out of here.
Yep.
Nothing else to it. And I think that's where a lot of the blue splash ability comes in. That's what Han's utilizing, that's what Ray's utilizing, whether it be mono, whether it be like red-blue. But Villain's also utilizing it.
Absolutely.
Villain's got a lot more than Hero did in blue. The Villain has once again taken over blue.
I think...
Because in set 1, there was a fair spread.
I think it's fairly even actually now, because I think in the beginning... I think Villain has gotten a lot of more tools, but a lot of tools that make what they currently have really good, whereas Hero Blue has gotten a lot more to fill out these good decks and what they can do with them.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to look at it. I think a couple of the main talking points for Blue Villain. Firstly, Gar Saxon is a really interesting and fun leader, and he's still really strong. I think Gar Saxon can kind of come out of nowhere and just steal games. He's very similar to Kylo in that sense. And I think one of the problems with Gar is a lot of people I've spoken with, they say, but people just kill Gar as soon as he comes out. Yeah. That's because he's cooked.
Yeah.
Like, if he stays out, your opponent's eating a Darksaber. Like, things like that. And if he's not, one of the coolest things to do with Gar, and this is a deck that I think has been neglected in my opinion and is incredibly meta relevant, and people just are not touching it for whatever reason. Second Chance Charlton Gar. I don't know why we don't see that more.
No, absolutely. It's very, very strong.
Really good.
And it's one of those situations where I think there's just other things that people are focusing on at the moment. And while I would recommend focusing on those kind of like meta decks, knowing about these kind of more fringe 1.5 level decks is really important into learning the matchups as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think yellow Gar's really good.
Yeah, I think mono blue Gar is one of those things that does come into that 1.5 category where it can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, and then we've got your other decks like Iden's still floating around. People have been talking about Kira. I mean, for me, Iden, Krennic, and Kira kind of all fall into the same category. I think they all
love green, and they all love this kind of pseudo control kind of play style.
Yeah, they're all just chilling.
Yeah, I think Kira is the best of them. I wouldn't have admitted that before. I will admit it now. I'm Kira's #1 hater for some reason. I just decided I don't like that deck, and there's no other reason for it, and that's valid.
It's a fine deck.
I just
think it's not. I just don't think it's anything new.
It has a gimmick. The gimmick is very good, but it's still kind of a gimmick of being like, I can board wipe turn 4. But with the amount of decks that can recover from a board wipe turn 4...
and the amount of splashable removal that you can get before and on turn 4...
it kind of turns into this situation where winning games with Kira is like a gotcha.
Yeah.
And not a, I played well and I won the game.
It's just kind of like, I snuck out, got my little board wipe off, and I capitalized on that. But once your opponent learns how to play against that,
becomes a lot harder to kind of finish off those
really
games.
Use that gimmick anymore.
Especially when there's other decks that are using those same kind of blue cards.
Yeah.
In more useful ways, and one that I do really want to talk about is Lon Pike.
Oh my god.
This card is extremely good.
That's gross.
It is a 4-cost,
I love him.
4/6, which is by itself
Hella
very good.
Hella good. If
A
only
4-cost,
he had a
4/6, incredible.
If only he had a 1 attack.
We're used to 4-cost 4/4s.
Yeah, and that's good.
So a 4-cost 4/6 coming through with the ability on attack, give an opponent's unit a shield,
Yum, yum, yum.
give Lon Pike a shield.
He only tells truths. He only deals in truths, and he points at your unit and he goes, I'm going to kill it. He goes, I'm going to kill it and give myself a shield. Because 90% of the time that I use Lon Pike's ability, I put a shield on a unit, and my opponent looks at me and they go, oh. And I go, yep. And then I power the dark side, I take down. Like, that unit was a big enough threat. I was going to get rid of it anyway. Might as well get a free shield out of it.
Well, my thing is, I'm just going to put it on your 2-cost 2/3 cartel spacer that I'm not really fussed about, and then give Lon Pike a shield and start clearing stuff away.
Yeah.
I'm going to put another shield on it next turn, another shield on it the next turn after, and then just for shits and gigs, I'll take it down.
And you might be thinking, wow, well, that's great. Lon Pike's got smuggle for 5.
Yep.
Not even overcosted smuggle. Not even on the on curve average, which he should be 6. You can just smuggle him the turn after you would normally play him. If you're in Hondo, which we talk about a lot because I'm not gonna lie, it's my favorite deck this set.
It rose up there for me as well. I was a Hondo Blue denier. I think that is one of. It might not be the strongest deck. It might lose to a bunch of the decks. It is one of the strongest decks, and is also the most fun of those that are up
Out
there.
of all the meta decks, it's the most fun to play.
Yeah.
I think you could hand
And I
that
think
deck
that
to
is
someone.
so
Yeah.
important.
Because if I'm playing in a tournament and I'm playing a deck that's good and that's fun, I am feeling refreshed, energized, and ready for the next game. But if my opponent's playing a meta deck that they don't have fun with, they're going to make more mistakes. They're not thinking. They're getting frustrated. You know,
They're like, man, I didn't even want to play this, and now I'm losing.
And me,
It's huge. It's the mental game of that is actually
I'm dealing
massive.
in truths, and I've got some good business going on. But in Hondo, you smuggle out Lon Pike. He's a 5/7. He's a 5/7.
5/7 for 5? Yes, please.
Or
That's the same level of stats as Poe. Is a 5 cost 6/6, 5 cost 5/7.
when attack with the when attack ability, you could ambush him out with timely intervention.
Yep.
And in Hondo, you're just doing the same thing. But again, like it's really interesting to see green blue take on new forms. Like check out this week's gameplay. I play Moff Gideon, one of my favorite pet decks from the beginning of the set. I'm very excited to revisit it. But it utilizes blue cards in a whole new way. Yes, it's got the takedowns. Yes, it's got the power of the dark side. But it's got entrenched, and it loves it. It loves it, and it loves
Sure does.
not using it on your opponent, but using it on your units. Everything has overwhelm. Capitalize on that. Put them on your Emperor's Royal Guard Sentinels. When you flip your Moff Gideon leader, all of them are becoming 7/7s that have overwhelm.
Absolutely.
So using cards like that and having blue cards from set 1 evolve in interesting ways to complement leaders in set 2 is just so exciting to see. And one of those key cards has rose up above others, and that's Lieutenant Charleston.
Yeah, absolutely. Set 1 Lieutenant Charlton was huge in that Iden deck, but also sometimes you didn't run him because you wanted that more removal over that Sentinel. Now, Lieutenant Charlton is one of the really, really crazy coming in on these big decks, and a 6/6 for 4, well, that's just good business.
I'm noticing a lot of decks run him. The mono blue Gar deck runs him. I've seen some Kira decks run him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hondo's majority blue and thus can afford to run him. And you also get the added bonus of being able to timely intervention him out to kill Boba Fett leaders.
Yeah.
Just straight up. You can ambush and kill pretty much every leader in the game on turn 6 with that card in a Hondo deck. And that's insane. But if it's not in a Hondo deck, you're second chancing and reoccurring it. You're dropping him down and damaging him and giving him a shield and then flipping and half healthing everything and then forcing your opponent's half health units to swing into his 6/6. Like, it's absurd how good this unit has gotten.
Yeah.
And you've been on him since day one.
Oh yeah.
Since he got released, you were
Charleston.
like, this is amazing. And I was like, yes, he's fine. And then you changed my mind when you built that mono blue Krennic and we played against each other. And I was just like, everything else I can deal with. I can't deal with this.
Yeah. And that's just gotten more and more relevant.
It's
and
true.
It's such a huge
It's just
deal.
more true now. And I think that the same reason that Rey will be good in set 3 is the same reason that Charleston's going to be good in set 3. Drop
Absolutely.
a Charleston. What are you going to do? Swing 6 battle droids into him? That's fine. Let's exploit fodder for you. I don't mind if my opponent trades 3 clone troopers into Charleston.
Oh, no.
Because I'm netting the value then.
Yeah.
Because at that point, your opponent thinks, oh, but they're just tokens. And I'm thinking, thank God I'm not taking 6 to my base. So Charleston gets even better because of tokens. Interestingly enough, the cards you would assume that would thwart him by going, oh, I'm going to make you waste your value. But you're not. Because of mechanics like Exploit and because of mechanics like Coordinate, dropping a 7/7 or 6/6 Sentinel on your opponent's board and forcing them to give up their skills in order to trade this threat is going to be absurdly strong.
Absolutely crazy. And that's just kind of blue in... I would like to talk about another card, another 2 cost to go with the Quill from Hero. Pike Sentinel.
Oh my gosh, this card's awesome.
A 2/3 Sentinel
The
for
Inferno
2.
4 of ground.
Yeah, it's one of the best turn 1 plays to just be like, hey, aggro. Just
Stop.
wait.
And then you can do absolutely wacky things to him. You can buff him, you can shield him in Kira, you can covert strength him.
Oh, yeah.
Someone will swing into him, or you can swing in and trade something, and then just
I've been on the covert strength bandwagon since the day it was released.
I think we both agreed that when we saw that card, we were like, this is a blue staple. And I think a lot of other people were like, it's good, it's fine. But I think here at the Spy Squadron, we saw that card and we were like, this is just like a blue wing leader. Ultimately, it's a blue wing leader.
And yeah, and I mean, we talked a lot about Hondo, but like in Hondo,
it is a wing leader that heals too, for the same cost as a wing leader.
Yep.
Like, it's amazing.
Crazy.
Like, I think Covert Strength is an incredible card, an incredibly powerful card, and blue just keeps getting more interesting. And I think that leads us into talking about the neutral cards for blue in this set.
Yeah, absolutely. The Covert Strength being one of the huge of them.
That's one of the best for sure, by far.
There's definitely more to talk about. We talked a little bit about it before. Fell the Dragon and Rivals Fall are two huge cards to come into set 2.
Very good removal. Rivals Fall, contrary to my predictions, just has outpaced Vanquish. And once again, contrary to my predictions and thoughts, Rivals Fall has outpaced... Fell the Dragon has outpaced Rivals Fall. It's just so good.
Yeah, I think it's one of it was underrated.
Interaction on it is...
Yeah. I think one of the things is it isn't super often that you have a 5 damage unit that you need to get rid of immediately.
Yeah.
But in the situations where you do have a 5 damage unit or more that you need to get rid of immediately, you need to get rid of it immediately. Yeah, it's the having same that 4-cost kill.
Yeah. It's the same reason takedown's good.
Yeah, exactly. But I think one of the things is paying 4 for takedown is really good. But paying 4 to kill something that takedown can't, it can't kill the smaller things. Maybe they've buffed up something. But even if they've buffed something up, then you can start to kill it. So what it does is it takes out the cards that are threats.
Yeah.
And will always take out the cards that are threats.
And you might be thinking, all right then guys, what do I run? Takedown or Fell the Dragon? And honestly, a good removal package, if you're blue hero, blue villain, or just mono blue, 3 of each or 2 of each is
usually 2 of each I've found more.
Yeah, a lot of the time I'm only really takedowning once per game, and I'm only needing to Fell the Dragon once or twice per game as well. So having 2 is really good. And if I want more, I side them in. But it's just incredible to see these interesting and powerful cards. Again, Covert Strength is wild. In every deck it's running, it is impeccable. Like being able to heal, being able to buff for 1 or for 3 from your resources and losing no hand advantage. Chef's kiss. So good. So
from your hand for 1?
Literally
yes,
so good.
Please.
Yeah, actually amazing. And then... we've got another one. I think it's like Collect Evidence. What is it?
That is one of my personal favorite cards of the set.
I actually really like it as well.
I think it's one of those cards that's been completely overlooked.
Yeah.
That is an actual really interesting card that can do a lot of really cool stuff. So Collect Evidence is a 3-cost event that says you may steal...
you gain control of an
gain
upgrade.
Control of a upgrade of 3 cost or less, and put it onto one of your units.
Yeah. So you target one of your opponent's upgrades, put it onto one of your units. Yeah. Bada bing, bada boom.
So one of the biggest things for this is, as you can probably guess, Boba's armor.
Yoink.
And that is really huge. It's one of those really cool things where you can be like, it's like, oh, but you don't have Boba, so you're not getting the full value out of it. Don't care, I get +2/+2, and I take it away from Boba.
Yeah. Boba doesn't get the full value out of it. Yeah. Boba doesn't get the full value out of it.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't want Boba to get I don't want Boba to reduce damage by 2. If I pay 3 and get that out of there and give one of my units +2/+2 because of it, well, boy, howdy, I'm in love with that. That's good. That's great.
And also there's situations where you can do stuff like swing Long Pike, kill something, put a shield on that.
Long Pike.
And Long Pike just destroys his own shield, and then you go, cool, pay 3, grab that shield, put it back on Long Pike.
Long Pike just gets 2 shields for free the game? Yeah.
There's situations where stealing a shield or stealing an XP counter at the bare minimum, and this is without including a bunch of the other upgrades that exist, such as Heroic Sacrifice. It can't take Darksaber and it can't take Second Chance because it is 3 or less, but you have a bunch of stuff that it can take, right?
Yeah, and
And then a bunch of the random like upgrades. If someone's like, oh, I'm going to play these upgrades, and they play it, you can go, oh yeah, baby.
Taking a shield can be pivotal. Taking Boba's armor can win you the game. So I think that card's overlooked. I think there's a couple of cards that we overlooked. One villain card that we missed that I think we should talk about is old Uncle Monkey Paws. Snoke. That card, good.
Real good.
That card, real
Absolutely fantastic, some would say.
Yeah, it can be tough getting to that point in the game, but once you're at that point, I've found that it really gets you there.
Yeah, I
like
think
hard.
It's one of those things that, especially against like aggro and especially against like stuff like Boba, it shuts down the game. Like it just says you can't do much.
Boba can't come back from it.
Yeah, and it's so hard. It's like, all right, well, I'm gonna play my 7th fleet. It's dead. I'm gonna play my Carter. No, never mind.
TIE Phantom.
Nope. And then even they're like, all right, well, I'm gonna play my Fett's Fire Spray and then New Adventure it and swing at you, and it's like, cool, you've gone down from 10 damage
to
6 damage. Boo. Right? Like it's one of those situations where a 3/4 is not as dangerous as a 5/6.
He's also a 6/6, and when you -2/-2 a bunch of stuff, he's great for trading, or he's great to just beat up your opponent. I really like him. I think he's a really good card.
Absolutely, and I think he's only going to get way better next set. I think he's going to be one of the staple blue cards next set.
Yeah, no droids, no clones.
Yeah, exactly.
No tokens. And another overlooked card, I think, is the Mandalorian the Mandalorian Gauntlet, the one that swaps upgrades when it's played or when it attacks.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that card is really interesting. I think there's a lot of weird shenanigans you can do with it, and I think it just hasn't been looked into enough yet.
Yeah, you can move your opponent's upgrades around.
You sure can. Boba's armor, please put it on that that Crafty Smuggler. Yeah, I made the Crafty Smuggler a 4/4, but
your Boba no good no more.
He's still good, but not as good.
Yeah. And if you somehow manage to get 7 damage on a Boba and you do that, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
But it's just so interesting, and I think this set, a lot of people, myself included, have tunnel vision pretty hard a little bit. And we're missing out on a lot of stuff. And one thing that's, while we've been talking, Chirrut, what's he up to? I want to know what Chirrut's doing this set.
I want to know.
I want to know what Chirrut.
2 different songs.
I want you to show me.
But absolutely, you love Chirrut in set 1. You haven't touched him set 2, and that's what's going to happen as we go forward and we get more things moving to set 3, set 4. This is what happens. All these leaders that were good, but not meta, fall into the background, and people forget how to play against them. If you grab Chirrut in most local metas and you brought him in with a deck constructed around him in set 2. You'd probably do really well. Why? Is it because Chirrut is the meta now and should be absolutely lauded and be played in every single situation? No. It's because people will have forgotten how to play against him.
But to that end, and once again, what James said may also be slightly incorrect. People have forgotten about Chirrut. And there may be card interactions that because people have forgotten about, they're not paying attention to. He could be meta somehow. There could just be an interaction out there that just makes him meta. Mm-hmm. And because no one's using him, we haven't thought about that. So we urge you here to do what we love to do. Pioneer, be creative, find some leaders that have fallen on the back burner that people aren't paying attention to, build them.
And at the end of the day, Takedown has fallen off in favor of Fel the Dragon.
Yeah.
And honestly, not that many people are running Rivals Fall.
Yeah.
So Chirrut is actually relatively safe at the moment.
Yeah, you can buff Chirrut safely up to giving him, making him like a 4 power something and still winning. And just play him as a rebel deck. like, that's pretty good still.
Yeah.
Running Chirrut Red Rebels is nice. Running Chirrut Yellow is still amazing. I love Chirrut Yellow. Lord knows that, like, stacking up Chirrut and then being able to, like, just swing in with everything. Like, Yellow Chirrut gets better because being able to play cards like Evacuate, you know? Because in Chirrut, I want to buff him up. Fleet Lieutenant swing, pay 6 Evacuate, everything's gone, but hey, my Fleet Lieutenant's back.
Pay Fleet Lieutenant.
Swing with Chirrut. Like, and Chirrut's got lightsabers on him at this point.
Oh, yeah.
He's got wing leaders on him. So, like, I played Chirrut Yellow in set 1, and I top 8'd a store champion. Like, I top 8'd a store showdown with him. It's good. And I haven't even touched him this set, so maybe I need to go reassess that, because this could be a really good thing where I'm paying 3 and I'm relentless pursuing cards under Chirrut. And well, they can't get him back because Chirrut doesn't die. So you'll only get them back at the end of turn, and if I heal them, well, they're gone forever. Because
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool. That's a cool interaction. Capture works really good with units that can't die.
Funnily enough.
Who'd have thunk it? And he's got extra utility now with cards like Razor Crest. You can add back upgrades to put back onto him. So, you know, maybe this is something we need to look into. And now I'm very, very excited and wishing I was playing Chirrut for this gameplay. But hey, I've got a deck for locals next week now.
Absolutely. But yeah, as Blue is one of those ones that hasn't really changed its play style moving into set 2.
No.
What it has...
Oh, Lord.
What it has done is really built on the foundations that were built. And we've talked about it in every single color that we've talked about. But Blue is one of those key ones that has those really staple cards that are doing so well when spliced with other colors at the moment. And while initially we were like, mono blue, Blue has come across as this kind of support color for other colors to really help them thrive.
It's broadened its horizons. And we've seen no blue set 3 cards yet at all.
True.
I really want to see them. So we've seen 5 set 3 cards yet. Again, nothing super notable. We saw Aura Sing, and we saw a really interesting green event. Please go check out if you're not on the Discord, join it. Literally, what are you doing? Like, actually go join the official Discord. The devs are on there. We're on there. Everyone's on there. Everyone's talking. It's moderated incredibly well. It's where a lot of content creators post. Go check it out. If you're not on it, get on it. And if you're not on the Facebook groups or anything, what are you doing? But you can go see it. You know, Contingency Plan or a Sing. They're the 2 new recent ones. Go check them out. But we haven't seen any blue for set 3 yet, which is exciting to me because I want to know.
Yeah, we assume at this point Obi-Wan, but honestly, we don't know.
We've seen red in the form of Maul and Asajj and Ahsoka. We've seen green in the forms of, you know, all of the Ahsoka cards, Rex, you know. We've seen yellow in the form of Grievous and even a bit of green in Grievous. But not seen blue. I really want to know now because what could it be? There could be some really interesting stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to know where blue is falling. If blue is really taking on the moniker of the Force this set with Darth Tyrannus. Got to be one of my favorite characters ever.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan again.
Yoda even coming in as we've seen the art.
Jinx. But, you know, the reason we're talking about this is because set 2 broadened Blue's horizons and solidified what it does best. Which means now that there's a foundation in place, what could it do in set 3? Once you've got a foundation in place, well, that's when things can get creative. You can start building up. Now that we've built out, we can start using that foundation and building up. And not in a way that power creeps, but in a way that scales and creatively expresses the identities of these colors.
So, it's not about making cards that are strictly better. It's about making cards that now utilize these cards in a better way. So it doesn't stand above anything. It pulls everything up with it.
Yeah, highlights everything with it. And again, there was only 2 mono blue cards this set. There was Second Chance, and then there was Sugi, the bounty hunter.
Forgetting about the Midnight Repairs.
Oh Lord, 3 Midnight Repair. Whoops. That might get really good if we have tokens.
Might well do.
Tech that against Kira. Imagine them nuking your board, and then you just go pay 2, heal it all, and then she goes, my overwhelming barrage. It sucks. And you go, yerp. Tech that. That's actually great. But Sugi is a card that I think gets overlooked. She's a 4-cost, double blue. She is I believe she's like a 4/6 as well. And she has smuggle for. She has smuggle for 6/1 blue. So what she would cost in a non-mono deck. Yeah. For smuggle, you don't cost her in your hand. If your opponent has an upgraded unit, she's a sentinel.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of awesome. If
Very
I'm
cool.
running Lom Pike, I can attack, give something a shield, and give her a shield, and make her a sentinel. And we know that's pretty good because there is the Mandalorian Super Commandos in blue. 5 cost 4/4 shielded. While it's upgraded, it's a sentinel. That's a good card.
Yeah, they're very good.
I love ambushing them out in Hondo with timely intervention because you give them a 1/1 counter and you kill something because it's a 5/5 shielded. And then because you've given it a counter, it's a sentinel.
Yeah.
So you've just gotten a 5/5 shielded sentinel ambush and just killed something.
Yeah,
And your opponent
absolutely.
is just like, what can men do against such reckless hate?
But that is blue for set 2. We're going to call it there.
2 blue.
Thank you very much for watching. Happy birthday. Check out the gameplay because we have some hopefully wacky things going on down there.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.